It's now time for Trivia Tracks with yours truly, Price Robertson. This edition of Trivia Tracks is brought to you by ProMed Ambulance Services, care you can count on, and Beth Smith at Edward Jones. Edward Jones, making sense of investing, member SIPC. Did those gunslingers of the Old West die with their boots on or at the end of a Colt 45? Here is the story of how one outlaw gang, well, most of them, bit the dust. The Dalton brothers, Bob, the undisputed leader, Emmett, Frank, the oldest of the brothers, and Grattan, known as Grat, had all served as deputy marshals in Arkansas before they took up outlaw life. Another brother, Bill Dalton, had been co-leader of the Wild Bunch Gang, also known as the Dalton Gang, the Oklahombres, or the Oklahoma Long Riders, with Bill Doolin. While Bill Dalton never joined any heists, he did serve as their spy and informant. Frank Dalton, who was killed in a shootout by a posse in 1887, is not to be confused with J. Frank Dalton, who made many claims to be famous people, including his claim of being Frank Dalton the Outlaw and later Jesse James. The Dalton Gang swelled in number on occasion, but the brothers were hard to the core, concentrating mostly on train robberies that netted them on at least one occasion as much as $17,000. They robbed banks too. It was one day in the town of Coffeyville, Kansas, which proved to be a double bank job for the Daltons, and their last. At 9:30 a.m. on the morning of October 5th, 1892, Bob, Emmett, and Grat Dalton, along with two friends, Bill Powers and Dick Broadwell, rode into town. By chance, the hitching rails from outside the banks had been temporarily removed by a construction crew who was working on the streets. Instead of taking this as an ill omen, the boys parked their horses in an alley that was a block away from the banks. Then, at 9:42, Bob and Emmett entered one bank, while Grat, Broadwell, and Powers went into another bank a mere 50 yards away. Despite the false whiskers that Grat was wearing, they had already been recognized. The alarm was sounded, and the residents of Coffeyville, after all it was their money, grabbed their guns, and a bloody shootout commenced. The final score, Daltons 4, Coffeyville 4. Dead, that is, including the Coffeyville marshal. Emmett Dalton was the only one of the gang to survive, and he was given a life sentence in the Kansas State Prison. However, he served only 14 years and was pardoned. He later capitalized on his notoriety, both as a writer and as an actor. Dalton died in 1937 at the age of 66. Till next time, I'm Price Robertson. Amazed by today's trivia? Then join me for Trivia Tracks weekdays at 6:45 on Everybody's Country Y95.